Everybody naturally, whether you got there, how you got there, the goal is to pass, right? But it's not just, if the only thing they had to worry about is to pass, I think everybody will pass.
Skrypt in the afternoon, and is your inspiration station. It's that time for MYD Heart. Now, dealing with an increasing amount of schoolwork, your lively social life, and taking care of your general well-being can be quite a grueling task. Now, today on MYD Heart, we are joined by Miss Alina Kadhila, a UNAM alumni who holds an honors degree in geology as well as a master's in geohydrology. Now, Alina is also a mental health activist, YouTuber, and a life coach. She's been through it all, and she's here to shed some light on the issues that students face today. Alina, welcome officially to 99 FM.
Thank you so much. I received the welcome quite just when I entered.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so pleased to be here, actually honored.
Very, very good to have you here. Let's start with just being a student. Right? Describe that relationship between students' academic performances and their mental health. What's the correlation there?
Okay. Students are in the midst of a lot of things. And they're coming from different places, they're coming from different homes, they're having, a sense of responsibility. I think everybody naturally, whether you got there, how you got there, the goal is to pass, right? But it's not just, if the only thing they had to worry about is to pass, I think everybody will pass.
Yeah.
But then that's not the only thing. Now you gotta worry about maybe finances, even just to pay for the cost or to get to school. Maybe you got a loan, but then how do you get to school now? The loan doesn't really pay for my taxi. What do I eat at school? And all this stuff. There could also be other socio-economic factors that are affecting you, be it at home, be it at the school surrounding, in the community. We are coming from different places. So everything that you're carrying, whatever it is, if it's troubling, it's going to cook up there and then it's going to weigh down on you.
Yeah.
So this is going to distract you for sure. And of course, often if people don't really understand where this is coming from, they blame you. You're just not doing enough. Look at the other kids, because we have different coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
I was an A student, so if you compared me to somebody else, that would be completely unfair, because I managed to pass, but I don't think it's natural for someone to do that, because you could literally, if you're, let's say, you are stressed out, you are burned out, because it's not always that when something is going on, someone is depressed.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here to talk about mental health, because mental health does not need depression. It's actually bigger.
Yeah.
Depression is like one of the diagnoses, right? So all this, even just having the stresses, is enough to distract you. It's enough to challenge you. It's enough to cook up another situation that you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
For example, you could struggle to show up to classes. You could struggle to show up at school. You could struggle to be present even if you're in the classroom. You could struggle to pass. You could struggle to do a lot of things, and this can even affect your social life, how you engage with others. People you see someone so close up and you think this is their personality, is an introvert.
Yeah.
They could be, or they could just be really coping, maybe the avoidance mechanism. So every dynamic plays a role.
Yeah. And you mentioned social life in there. Is being social important in this regard, in terms of mental health, and specifically within the framework of education and being a student? How does the social life and mental health, how do those two things correlate now?
Okay. Amateur radio, so they probably have a different definition of social.
Yeah.
Because probably social, someone could be thinking maybe going out and having time with friends. That is part of the social setting. It's just one of the things. Not everybody will socialize by going out, but everybody needs a social life.
Yeah.
Meaning a place in society. How do you relate to other people? How do you engage with other people? No man is an island. So you are going to have, that's why people have friends.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have friends, you might say you're okay, but maybe you just created that thing of I'm okay. Like, because maybe you're being disappointed, I'm just not dealing with people with that. But you're coping. You're coping from maybe a previous bad experience. Doesn't really mean if I gave you a really good friend, you wouldn't want them. So
I understand. So how can students then deal with this pressure? Because it's the conversation that's been popping up more frequently now, mental health and how to navigate that. Just from a student perspective, how do you think students can navigate their way through this with all the pressures that you spoke of, the socioeconomic pressures, the academic pressures, sometimes the pressure that we put on ourselves? How do we navigate as students?
Okay, this will be like self-help. It's not medical expertise or anything. It's just that I've been a student, like, and I'm actually still a student. Yeah, so it is a struggle. And sometimes when you say it so easily, people tend to assume, no, it's so easy. How did she do it? What am I doing? Now you've created another whole way you're really blaming yourself instead of working on what you really need to work on, because it's that comparison you're rating against someone who has probably better tools than you. Like, I'm now having better tools. When I was a student, I was in a different, like the undergrad student period. So I would say, look, there's a lot going on. Go easy on yourself. That's the first place to start. Be kind on yourself. The first person you meet may not be the kindest. You know, I was greeted by kind people here. That's not something I see. That's why I'm just smiling. Like, that just helps. Like, we are not besties, but you're nice. You know, if society had more of those people, but unfortunately we have less of those people, so then it becomes your job to kind of cultivate something harmonizing for yourself, something, you know, so just be kind of yourself. That alone, because a lot of people, even if I told you, you're so good, you're doing so good, you think maybe I'm just making conversation. No, you are really doing good. But the thing is, until you acknowledge it, until you own it, it might mean very little coming from someone else. And that's where you build self-esteem, you build self-confidence. These things are natural boosters for your everything.
100%. I fully agree. I think, you know, the world is trying to attack you at, you know, in 35,000 different ways. The best thing you could do is not join them.
Yes.
And you know, be kind to yourself.
It can be very tricky because there's these 1,000 voices that also makes you feel like maybe I'm really just all that they say. So this brings me to the next point of create a healthy, safe community where you can be yourself. I mean, if you're around people, like, I found the community of people that are talking about mental health because I had experienced frustration when you would talk about it and people would brush you off. They would tell you, like, mental health right now, it's so stigmatized and so many misconceptions. People think you're just coming up with an excuse not to come to class or not to go to work, you know. I'm like, dude, I'm struggling. I mean, it's okay if you don't know what to do with me, but can you not invalidate me? So the game of trying to convince everyone that is not even in a space of awareness is like a losing battle. So you have to find your tribe, find those like-minded people, and that is a part of socializing. You know, so if you are in the circle where you are the light and everybody else is just doing this negativity, that's why they say toxicity. Cut that out. You have that power. That is your power. You can decide, you know what, you guys are always talking about things that are not building me up. I don't want to be part of this anymore. Find people. I'm surprised. Like, UNAM brought me here after this seminars. I'm like, oh, thank you, thank you. These are the people I've been looking for, because you can speak about this subject in other rooms and everybody will look at you really weird, like.
But that safe space helps deal with it as well.
That safe space. And the other one is now, this is like sounding like an impossible job, but it's not impossible because I've now had the assurance that there are actually people doing already the work in this area. You guys are doing this, the seminars, everything that's being done is a step closer to where we need to be as a society. So this is a bigger platform. It means somebody really cares, and if we keep doing this, we'll bring it at the same level where everything else is. So when we cultivate a safe environment, safe community now around, because you can be so self-assured, so self-confident, and then that one day your esteem is on zero. It sets you back again. So it helps to also be in a safe environment. At school, it should be safe. It shouldn't be a place of hazards. Maybe I'm dreading going to school because I get bullied. Maybe I don't have the nice clothes. Other kids are mocking me. You know, if that environment is not, it can break a person. You can only have so much self-resilience, you know.
I like that, and you know, safe spaces and self-love is the name of the game. Alina, we thank you so much for taking the time out and, you know, just giving us insight into not just your world, but the world of mental health, and specifically from a student perspective, because you know, the distractions for students are plenty, and sometimes these are conversations that are not had. So it's very refreshing and very good to hear. And once again, we thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This is MYD Heart, where we talk about the things that matter.
MYD Heart was proudly brought to you by NHP. NHP, we are about you.